All right, so we are moving on. So we have the CMD stuff already out of the way. So now what we're going to do is we're going to actually create our first Gatsby project, okay? So the before we actually move on, we have to make sure that you have everything that you need in place. So I know we've done this before, but it's always good to double check, triple check, quadruple check, things like that, just to make sure that you don't have any issues coming up. So let's figure out first, or let's make sure first that we have Node installed, and we're gonna put Node -v, and it should return back. There you go. It returned back a version 12, which is the latest, the latest stable version, which is fine. And if we have Node, we should have npm, the Node package manager. So that should give us back a version as well. That takes one. It's probably a little longer. There you go. 6.14, which is fine too. And I'm not sure if Gatsby has a -v or a minus version. Let's try this one. I don't know if that's the one that they use to give back the version. Could be wrong. Let's give it a second. But basically, I want to make sure that Gatsby is globally installed, which we did. We globally installed it. There you go. It is. So the latest version is 2.12.19, and they're going to be bringing up new versions of CLI like almost daily. So don't worry about updating it so much. Okay. I mean, you could if you want, and sometime throughout this process of this tutorial, you may actually see Gatsby trying to ask you for an update to 2.12.21 or 2.12.23, things like that. It's not going to be major unless you see this number change, or you see definitely this number change. So this right here changes an entire version of the software, which is going to be major updates and huge updates to Gatsby. Okay, I mean that could definitely alter the way things work. Okay. So if you see it's changing from 2 to 3, then definitely you may want to consider that and read into it before you actually do an update. If you see this 12 changing into 14, 15, that usually means that within that version there is going to be some not so big of an update, but maybe some additional stuff that they added to it, or some major fixes and things like that. Not fixes, but bugs or something like that. And then this right here is not really that big a deal. These are just very small little patches into the code itself and minor bugs, things that were never really breaking to begin with. So I don't really, whenever I see something like that change into 21, 23 or something like that, I don't really care about it. When I see this one changing, I might consider it. And then when I see this one changing, I definitely want to read and see what happened, and then consider to change if I see that no one is complaining about any issues with it. Okay. I technically, before I move on into a new version, I like to give him a little bit of time, if I can, to work out some bugs or whatever, because things are always a little quirky when they first get released. All right, so that's enough of that. So let's go ahead and start up this this new Gatsby, and I warn you, this is probably gonna take a long time, so I'm just gonna pause it, let mine load up, and then I'll unpause and get back to you guys. So if you have some coffee going on or whatever, just let it install. Don't worry about it. It's not frozen, it's not broken. It's gonna take a while. So first thing is, since you have Gatsby installed, now Gatsby is actually a command in the command line, and it will understand it. So I'm telling the command line now, hey, Gatsby. That means I'm going to talk to you in Gatsby code. New, meaning I want to create a new project. Okay. In here, okay, that's assuming that I want to add it in here. If you're writing this that I'm writing right now in a different folder, there's not this one, like for example up here somewhere, if you're not keeping up with me and you just came back this morning and you're just open the bash window and you're here, make sure that you cd into here. Okay, otherwise you're gonna end up creating the new project in here, whatever you are. So if you haven't been keeping up or whatever, make sure that you come to this folder, or not this particular folder, I don't care what you call it, wherever you want your program to be, your Gatsby project. So anyway, Gatsby, new, and now the name of the project. And we're going to call this one, what should we call it? Gatsby to Gatsby Portfolio? That's fine. Let's call it My Portfolio. How about that? And I don't like to use spaces for this kind of stuff. I know we talked about that before somewhere here. So you see, like if you CD local site spaces or whatever in there, then the CD doesn't really work. So to avoid any situations like that where I have to escape it, like here somewhere, well, I showed you how to escape it, but it's not in the screen right now. So to avoid escaping white spaces and things like that, I just write my stuff camel case like this, and it makes everything a lot easier. So, all right, once you got your once you told Gatsby new and then you created it, then you hit enter and let it rip. It's going to start creating a bunch of stuff. Okay, it's going to go through a bunch of checks and install a bunch of packages, and this is going to take a while because Gatsby is a tool that works with React and GraphQL and a lot of other stuff and inside it. So it has a lot of stuff under the hood that it has to install for you that normally you will have to do on your own. So if you were going to do a React application on your own, you will have to do your own routing. You will have to set up your own store and things like that, and make sure that you do all your connections to your APIs. And I mean, there's so much you have to do, and to set up a React application from the beginning, which I love it. I enjoy it. I do love using React from scratch. But we're doing Gatsby, right? We're doing Gatsby because it's simpler, it's faster. So that comes with some sort of a bloat. Okay, so because it's easier and it's faster, that means it's automated. That means Gatsby is going to have to download all of this stuff within itself to make it so that they can have all these stuff to do the stuff that you need. They do it themselves. So now the good thing, I normally don't like bloat. This is why I don't like developing websites on WordPress or Joomla, things like that, because a lot of these softwares are extremely bloated. They're made for people who can't code. They're made for people who just need websites real fast. So they make them packed up with so much stuff in it to make it fit for anyone. Basically, anyone that would sit on a chair in front of WordPress should be able to just handle WordPress regardless of what the website is going to look like. So in order to do that, they have to satisfy the masses. That means they have to put so much in it. All right, so I don't like bloat for that reason. But in this case, because Gatsby is only going to be used locally in development, I don't care if it has all this bloat, because that's only going to live in my machine. When it goes into the browser, Gatsby is not going to bring all of this stuff that is trying to download right now into the browser. It's only going to bring whatever is in the public folder, and you'll see what I'm talking about once we actually get into the root and start seeing the root folder, and and what the public folder is, and the source folder, and all that stuff. So it'll make sense then. But yeah, my point is that everything that is downloaded right now is only for you to use, not for you to put on the browser when the website goes live. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pause this, let this thing get through, and then I'll get back to you as soon as it's done. Okay, so mine is done. So I'm assuming yours is. So by now, you probably, if you were keeping up with it, you saw that there was a bunch of stuff being downloaded, like I said, and I think it's funny every time I see this. I see all these NPM packages soliciting funding. That's I mean, can't get mad at them though. I mean, they do offer all this stuff for free for us. It's kind of messed up that we don't ever give them money. Like, I don't know one person that actually gives them money. I don't. Sorry. Anyway, so one of the things that you need to pay attention here, or that I want you to look at, is this right here. So there is Gatsby already initialized an empty Git repository for you, okay, inside your portfolio, inside of Gatsby tutorial my portfolio, and then there is a folder in there called that Git. So in here, so as you can see, now your website is already created inside of Gatsby tutorial inside this folder called my portfolio, okay, and we're gonna CD into it in a minute right here. And inside there, let me see if I can just open it like that. There is a Git ignore, but you don't see the Git. Okay, you don't see the Git because it's being hidden by the Windows Explorer, and for good reason. So anyway, in there is a Git, and this Git has already been initiated, and that's gonna make a whole lot of sense because in the next lesson, we're gonna talk about GitHub. Okay, so that's a good thing. But for right now, we'll just okay, so you should create an initial Git commit into my portfolio. I think it maybe already have done that, so that's a good thing too. We'll figure that out. Okay, and now first thing we got to do to start developing into it is we have to CD into it, because right now we're in Gatsby tutorial. We are outside of it. We need to CD into my and then tab portfolio. There you go. I'm in it now. If I type Gatsby develop, it will compile my folder and it will show it on the desktop on the browser, and I will see my website already running. Okay, and that's a good thing, but I don't want to do that from here. The reason why I don't want to do that from here is because I want to move this that I'm doing right now into Visual Studio Code, and this is the way to do it. There are two ways to do it actually. You can go and open Visual Studio Code yourself, like any software that you ever opened before, any application, and just file, folder, file, and then open folder. How about I just show you instead of being, let's just use this one. Open a new window. Come on. There you go. So if I open a new window, from opening just my new Visual Studio Code, I can go to File, and then I can go to Open Folder, and then when I look up a folder, I go there and I go wherever it is that my tutorials is. I don't know, where did I put it? In here somewhere. Yeah, there you go. I go in here and I click on it and then select folder, and it would automatically put my folder structure inside of Visual Studio in here and all that crazy, all that good jazz. There's a lot easier way. There is a way that is a lot easier. Okay, and that's right here from my portfolio where I am right now. I can just type code space dot and hit enter, and Visual Studio Code is going to open up. It opened up in my other screen, so sorry about that, but it opened up automatically directly into the folder that I want. Okay, so here you go. This is perfect. So this is all I wanted to cover in this video. We're gonna go over the structure and what all these files mean and what's all that good stuff in here in the next video, but it's getting a little bit too long now, so we're gonna leave that for the next one. I also have to make sure that my my fonts here are a little bit bigger, so you don't have to see something so small like this and have to squint at it. So I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Stick around and make sure you like, subscribe, and do all that good jazz, please. It helps me out, it helps other people out, so just do it. Okay, I mean, I don't bug people with this all the time, so you're not gonna get a bunch of notifications from me. All right, see you later.